Hello, how are yous? I hope yous are good. I hope yous are well. I hope that you are enjoying the book. I'm enjoying it. I like the Marvel links. I like the fact it's all about winter. We're having a bit of a winter. And I love the drawings. I love the way Neil Gaiman writes. It's amazing what you can do if you get a bit of talent and you work hard at it. Right, last time Odd had just went for a nap after learning that the Frost Giants had pretty much taken over and that the winter was going to go on forever unless they managed to defeat them. So, I kind of like his attitude there. You know, world's in danger, everyone might die. Let's go for a nap. Good attitude, Odd. Good attitude. Right, chapter 4, Making Rainbows. What's that you've got there? Asked the fox. It's a lump of wood, said Odd. My father began to carve it into something years ago and he left it here, but he never came back to finish it. What was it going to be? I don't know, admitted Odd. My father used to say the carving was in the wood already. You just had to find out what the wood wanted to be and then take your knife and remove everything that wasn't that. Said the fox, seemed unimpressed. Odd was riding on the bear's back. The fox trotted along beside them. High above them, the eagle rode the winds. The sun shone in a cloudless blue sky, and it was colder than it had been when there was cloud cover. They were heading towards higher ground along a rocky ridge, following a frozen river. The wind hurt Odd's face and ears. He needs a good hat. This won't work, said the bear gloomily. I mean, whatever it is, it won't. Odd said nothing. You're smiling, aren't you? Said the bear. I can tell. The thing was this. You got to Asgard, the place the gods come from, by crossing the Rainbow Bridge, which was called Bifrost. If you were a god, you simply wiggled your fingers and a rainbow appeared and you walked across it. Easy, or so the fox said, and the bear morosely agreed. Or at least it was easy until you didn't have fingers, which they didn't. Still, even if you didn't have fingers, Loki pointed out, you could normally still find a rainbow and use it. Rainbows turned up after it rained, didn't they? Well, they didn't in midwinter. Odd thought about it. He thought about the way rainbows appeared on rainy days when the sun came out. I think, said the bear, as a responsible adult, I should point a few things out. Talk is free, said Odd, but the wise man chooses when to spend his words. It was something his father used to say. I just thought I should point out that we are wasting our time. We don't have any way of getting to the Rainbow Bridge, and if by some miracle we summon it, look at us, we're animals. You can barely walk. We can't defeat frost giants. The whole thing is pointless. He's right, said the fox. If it's hopeless, said Odd, why are you coming with me? The animals said nothing. The morning sun sparkled up at them from the snow, dazzling Odd, making him squint. Nothing better to do, said the bear after a while. Up here, said Odd. He clung tightly to the bear's fur as they clambered up the side of a steep hill. They could see the mountains beyond. Stop, said Odd. The waterfall? The waterfall was one of his favourite places in the world. From spring until midwinter, it ran high and fast before it crashed down almost 100 feet into the valley beneath, where it had carved out a rocky basin. In high summer, when the sun barely set, the villagers would come out to the waterfall and splash around in the basin pool, letting the water tumble onto their heads. Now the waterfall was frozen, and ice ran from the crags down to the basin in twisted ropes, and great clear icicles. "It's a waterfall," said Odd. "I used to come out of here, and when the water came down, the sun was shining brightly. You could see rainbows, like a huge circle all around the waterfall." "No water," said the fox. "No water, no rainbow." "There's water," said Odd, "but it's ice." He took the hatchet from his belt, pushed his crutch beneath his arm as he got down from the bear's back, and walked over the ice until he stood before the frozen waterfall. He used the crutch to hold himself in position as best he could. Then he began to swing the hatchet. The noise of the blade hitting the thick icicle cracked off the hills around them, making echoes that sounded as if the entire army of men were hammering on the ice. Do you want to see it? Can you see that okay? Yeah. These pictures are amazing. There was a crash, and an icicle as large as Odd smashed down to the surface of the frozen pool. "Clever," said the bear, in a kind of tone of voice that meant it wasn't clever at all. "You broke it." "Yes," said Odd. He inspected the shards of ice on the ground, picked up the biggest, most cleanly broken piece he could find, then took it to the side of the frozen pool and put it on a rock and stared at it. "It's just a lump of ice," said the fox, "if you ask me." "Yes," said Odd. "I think the rainbows are imprisoned in the ice when the water freezes." The boy took out his knife and began to trace outlines on the ice block with the blade going back and forth with it, scoring it as best he could. The eagle circled high above them, almost invisible in the winter sun. He's been up there a long time," said the bear. "Do you think he's looking for something?" The fox said, "I worry about him. It must be hard to be an eagle. He could get lost in there. When I was a horse." "A mare, you mean?" said the bear with a grunt. The fox tossed its head and walked away. Odd put his knife down and took out his hatchet once more. "I've seen rainbows on the snow sometimes," said Odd, loud enough for the fox to hear, "and on the side of buildings when the sun shone through the icicles. And I thought, ice is only water, so it must have rainbows in it too. When the water freezes, I think the rainbows are trapped into it, like fish in a shallow pool, and the sunlight sets them free." Odd knelt on the frozen pool. He hit the big lump of ice with his hatchet. This did nothing. The axe just glanced off the ice and nearly cut into his leg. He does not need another injury, this poor Odd. "Do that again and you'll break the axe," said the fox. "Or hurt yourself. Hold on." He nosed along the bank of the frozen pool for several minutes, then he began scrabbling at the snow. "Here," he said. "This is what you need." And that's where we'll stop today. They're searching for rainbows. So, likes, dislikes. I like Odd's positivity. Obviously, it's a tough situation, and I like the fact that Odd's going out there and dealing with it as best he can and being positive about it. Yeah. My puzzle is I'm still not overly certain how he's going to get this rainbow. And I'm also puzzled by, it's a pretty tough hatchet. How come it bounced off the icicle there? I'm a bit puzzled about that. My connection is that one of my favourite bands is a band called Radiohead, and they have an album called In Rainbows. So they do. So I'm excited to see how rainbows are going to save the day. Also, we had lots of rainbows up in our windows and what have you, didn't we? Last time we were locked down. So Nice connection there too. I wonder what's going to happen next time. I really hope they get this rainbow, because it sounds like it's going to be absolutely crucial that they get this rainbow, or it's going to be the winter that never ends. So fingers crossed we'll get a rainbow next time. All right, be good, try your best, yeah? If you're stuck, ask for a bit of a help. It'll be there for you. Okay? See you later.